Hello, everyone. How's everybody feeling? We're getting closer to cocktail hour, right? My name is Anna Delgado, and I'm fortunate to actually know a lot of you in the room, but real quick, my journey in aesthetics started as in dentistry, so conducting injectables training since 2006. And I want to take a moment to thank Sinclair for having me here. We go full circle, and to me, this has been an evolution. We've gone beyond injectables for a lot of you that are here, as this is the dental division of Beauty Boss. And what's beautiful is that we're now seeing dentists take this beyond that. We're seeing them really incorporate devices. And I want to share that in my journey now over 15 years, Sinclair was the first to get in the game. And they were the first and the only partner we've had at DentaSpa with devices that have actually come and serviced a lot of our alumni. And to my surprise, I see a lot of beautiful faces here of some of my alumni of over 10 years who met and incorporated Sinclair because of our courses. And now they're so happy, and they're sitting here today sharing their stories. So thank you. I just want to take a moment to applaud Sinclair for that. So today we're going to talk about patient retention. And giving you guys, and so sorry for those that thought you were going to hear a little bit about employment, but we're going to talk about patient retention because it is critical to every practice. And let me figure this out here. All right, so did you know, right? And I feel like a lot of the times we do these talks, and everybody, when I say how much of your business is made up of existing patients, a lot of people get so caught up with bringing in new patients, and they forget that right in front, they have already an existing patient base that makes up 50 to 60% of their revenue, right? And keeping in mind, we all know it's very costly, about $800 to $1,200 to bring in new patients, right? So what are we doing to maintain and keep our existing patients happy? And we do know, studies after studies show that our repeat customers are spending 33% more. So let's focus, right, on what we're going to do to maintain the existing patients and stop putting so much emphasis and so much money on the ones that are not going to spend as much, right, and don't make up a true bigger portion of our success. The average lifetime patient value is 1.2, guys. And for some of you here, this is aesthetics, right? Some of you here are doing aesthetics and dentistry, so this value can even be more. So when we're looking at this, and we are looking at our database of existing patients, how much energy are we putting into maintaining these patients and making them happy, right? And so we're going to go into, and this is another great stat, 60 to 70% you have a chance to sell to an existing patient, then 5 to 20%, right? So let's get into why. So why are our patients leaving? And yes, there's a ton of different reasons. These are some of the top reasons, right? Wait times, communication barriers. 46% of patients providers feel lack of compassion. Sometimes it's the quality of care. Technological limitations, as Megan and I, my partner, we do a lot of consulting. We're seeing a lot of practices that are great that haven't caught on to technological things and advancements that are frustrating tech-savvy patients. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you're doing everything great in your practice, but what you're forgetting is that now patients are expecting easy ways. They don't want to have to call. They want an easy scheduling. So those kinds of things, you got to take technology and really implement it so that you make that experience easy. Cost concerns, etc. But we still know the number one reason, guys, is bad experience, right? That's usually the number one. You could literally not do the best treatment, and if they love you and they love the energy, they will keep coming back. And I see that all the time, over and over again. And then there's some top providers that have the best skill set, but they don't provide the best. So you could really elevate that. It's a game changer, right? So I want to ask this question. Are you dating your patients? Or are you treating them like you've been married for years and, hey, they're here to stay, they're just going to be with us, right? What are you doing to keep it exciting? And I want to commend you all because you all are here and you are doing the things. I spoke to many of you today. You're doing injectables, you're bringing in the devices, you're staying in the know of all, and you're bringing in and elevating your technology. And so you are keeping things exciting, right? So this is gonna kind of go full circle here for us, but we are going into an experience economy more and more. It is not what you're doing, it's how you're making these people feel, right? So services is what you do, and experiences is how you do it. So I like to take everybody to think about their practice right now. If you didn't know anybody and it wasn't yours, how would you feel going into that practice? And I have a lot, we always say, and Megan and I, we tell our providers when we do consulting, it's like, we want them to step out and even take a moment to like be a fly on the wall. What's happening in your practice? What is the experience looking like? Without judging, without talking, just kind of sitting back, observing your team, okay? And we could all do that, right? So how are we providing an experience? Because it's all about that memory of how you made that person feel. And that can happen from the moment somebody steps in the door to the moment they leave, and every touch point has to be there, right? Does anybody here know their retention rate? Has anybody taken the time to know what that is and what it is in their practice? It's the amount of times that your patients visit per year. And the national retention rate is about a 3.7. That's something that CosMedic does. We like to figure that out because we want to see, where are you at? Are your patients really coming back for these incredible services that you're offering? So let's talk about strategies. Let's talk about a few things that we can do to improve in our short time here, right? So easy to do, right? But many practices still don't do this. We all know who's coming in that day. Are we greeting them by name? I mean, I love it when I step into any business and they know my name, right? So that's like a simple, no-cost thing that we can all do. Making it easy, again, going back to the technology to set up appointments, right? And checking in. How great do we feel when somebody checks in? We just did a full facial sculpting, we did a device, are we checking in? Are we sending them an email related to the treatment they got so that they know their care? A lot of these practices simply just don't do that. Providing educational resources. And again, going back to, I literally have 39 unread voicemail messages. We are in a text world. The fact that there are still practices that let their existing patients and their new potential patients go to voicemail is, I mean, there are systems out there, like Swell, like there's many out there, that, yeah, you might not be able to answer the phone, but guess what? They get an immediate text to say, hi, we're currently under their line, but what can we help you with? We need to be accessible, right? So when we're dating somebody, we're keeping things exciting, but we're also, communication is open, there's a flow. We want now. Our attention span is very short, and we need things now. This is just the world that we're in, so we need to kind of look at and think about those things. So a lot of people are afraid of really the whole world of reviews. I still find that, right? People have gotten better. We were actually, our companies were bad with it too, but we have to go there, and we have to ask for feedback. And not just so that we look great online, so that we can utilize that information to grow our team. So I hope in this world that we live in now that, more and more huddles are happening, right? So that we can grow, and you can certainly take the information from these review sites, right, to grow your team. What are people saying? I know this one practice that actually, they really were heavy on reviews, and a lot of the times, people will have an experience with somebody in the practice, maybe the front desk, maybe who did the treatment, maybe it was the coordinator that went above and beyond. And they would leave a name, and that practice owner would reward. So anytime naturally somebody left a review and it said, Jason was phenomenal, blah, blah, blah. So they liked the practice, but they mentioned a name, they rewarded that. So that's a nice little tactic that you guys can do too, because if somebody's gonna take the time to actually say the staff member's name, they should get something. And it could be something simple, right? But you can make that so you can leverage that. So, invitation to learn new and exciting services. You guys are a perfect example, right, of keeping it exciting. A lot of you here have these amazing treatments, cutting edge treatments, right? So this is a way to keep that, relationship exciting and do VIP invitations and such. And Heather, the last speaker, did a great job at mentioning how important it is to do And actually, I'm skipping over myself here, but let's first talk about patient appreciation. Raise your hand if you have a patient appreciation day, event, anything. Raise your hand. Not many of you. Some of the top providers in the country, even if you don't want to spend money on an event, look at Dr. Kian Karimi. He does, every year he does a patient appreciation virtual event, okay? So you don't need to necessarily make this an expensive thing, although I think that if you have a beautiful practice, why not have a patient appreciation day at your practice? And you can keep it simple, and you do things, and you have exclusive offers, you do it on a special day. Make those top patients feel great, right? So are you ever looking at your database and saying, these are our 50 top patients? We should know who they are. Everybody should know who they are, and those people should be prioritized and invited to things like that. So patient appreciation is key. And going into loyalty and reward programs, I love what Heather said. Most of us are afraid. Most of us will try it, dip into it. We all know what a loyalty and reward program is, and I would say that most of us have tried it, but are we actually having somebody on our team effectively use these things? Because it could change, as Heather said it, the last speaker, it could change your practice. So why are we not taking advantage of these things, right? 83% of patients say belonging to a loyalty program influences their decision to buy again from that company. So what are we doing with that, right? If you're doing injectables, there's plenty of loyalty programs with that, but there, you know, I think Heather said she created her own membership too, so that's another thing that we're gonna talk about real quick. Remember guys, you have 60 to 70% chance of selling to existing customer versus 5 to 20. So memberships can be done in a variety of ways. Memberships, you could either take what they are putting towards it and kind of do it like a bank where they can then utilize it towards services. You can make it a flat fee where, you know, it isn't banked, but it is a set fee, but that it gets them certain things of value. I know most of you in this room offer injectables, so most of the time when it is not something that's banked, it's utilized towards their treatment every 4 months or Botox, and then you create that loyalty, but you give them access. A lot of you here in this room have a lot of various exciting treatments, especially for those that are doing the dental and aesthetics combined. You can really take advantage of those membership programs. So Repeat MD, you know, as consultants, Megan and I always look for trending companies that are really helping, and I've been seeing a lot of top KOLs using Repeat MD. And this, what they've done is they've merged the power of basically loyalty reward, membership, and financing all in one. And they're an app, right? So they really are an extension of your website, but I love the stats here, right? 48% of the first-time sales are driven by a reward, 25% increase in conversion, and the fact that they have a firm makes it really easy on financing. A lot of people, and what I love is that they have a strong dental and aesthetic division too. But what I love is this: 86% of the purchases are made outside of the practice time. So what does that say? We're leveraging that, we're going beyond, but Repeat MD is not for everybody. It is an expensive platform. You don't need it to do that with. How can we be in their minds all around the time if we don't have a Repeat MD? Social media, right? We are all on our phones all day long. What do? We get home from work, we're on our phone, scroll, 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 scroll. What else do we have on our fingertips where we can really impact patient retention and do essentially in some way what Repeat MD is doing through their app, we could be doing and leveraging that through social media. The days of existing without it are kind of, I mean, look at the stats, guys. We've gone to 72%, okay? And that's gonna grow more and more. And Megan and I still have those ones that are like so against social media because they think they have this patient base, but guess what? They might have that loyal patient base, but eventually something exciting is gonna come along because they are on there. So how are we existing in that platform? And it doesn't have to be buy, right? We always say educate. So utilize that platform to retain, not just gain new patients, because we know that 68% of naive patients come from social media, but it's also a way to maintain and keep your current existing patients engaged. This is the new era, guys. It's the new millennial search engine. Our profiles have become where we look. Think about when we are trying to find out about a hotel or something, we usually go into, we're no longer just looking at the website. I mean, for me, when somebody tells me about a new restaurant or new thing, we're going straight to like, oh, let me look at their profile. And that's how we see more, that's how we see more about that company. So you gotta exist in that platform. And doing it well is part of what Megan and I do to help. So what is the positive of the fact that everybody is constantly on this social media platform is you can really control your brand, your narrative. You can really have brand visibility. And again, going back to that statistic, right? So patient retention is great, but for those of you that are like, I still want to keep my new patients rolling in, well, that's where you're going to find them, because 68% of patients find their injectors through social media. And that is the perfect place where they likely will go and cheat on you because they found somebody else that's truly doing an amazing job at educating about all the different things, because let's face it, we all want to know. I even find myself looking at constant, even things that I know, I'm like, oh, they're putting a post about, you know, how to lift the face, or all of these educational things will lead to more patients and happy patients. So going back again to, are we dating our patients, right? Are we keeping it exciting? Just think about that and bring that into your practice. We here at CosMedic are here to elevate your practice, and let us know. We have Scan here for a complimentary consultation. We do many things to help leverage practices just like yours. So thank you so much.